Every life tells a story. Join Frank Julian as he shares his, one chapter at a time, from Story of a Soul 2, releasing every Wednesday.
The Story of a Soul 2 by Frank Julian, with Sean O'Neill, narrated by Frank Julian. Chapter 10, A Gift of Immeasurable Value. I often say that New Year's weekend of 1976 was a miraculous pivot for my life. That Friday night, we had our double date. Our siblings didn't speak. Peggy and I were chatting like Barbie and Ken. We were eating our sundaes at Big Boy's, and I remember thinking that I really enjoyed being with Peggy. On Saturday morning, I had a meeting scheduled at the St. Albert's Convent. Sister Ann invited a handful of individuals, a couple named the Gables and a woman named Marlene, to join her in praying over me to receive the baptism in the Holy Spirit. I was very open. I needed the power of God in my life. Sister Ann also told me I had to go to the prayer meetings in Grand Rapids for this power to continue to flow in my life. When they laid hands on me and anointed me with oil, I closed my eyes. I saw an illuminated cross come up from the horizontal position to the vertical position right in front of me. I didn't speak in tongues at that time, though. Later that night, as I was preparing myself to leave for college the next day, I was down in a dark place. I decided to go for a burger. I cried out to God and asked Him for everything He had, and that included the gift of tongues. All of a sudden, the powerful gift of tongues flowed out of my inner being like a river. I decided to pull over in the O.L. Smith Junior High School parking lot and spend some time just praying in tongues. I believe now that the message that came forth was an interpretation given to me. I thought it was a prophecy then. The Spirit said that I was to be a leader in the church. In my limited thinking, I thought I'd be a Catholic cardinal someday, but then the Holy Spirit spoke further. He said that I would be a leader in 6 months. I thought, how can I be a cardinal in 6 months? Maybe the Pope would get a divine revelation. Of course, nothing like that happened. In 6 months, though, when I came home from college, I was leading people to the Lord and inviting them to prayer meetings. I worked as an orderly that summer at the local hospital in the operating room. I picked up people for surgery. I had a captive audience. Mary Ellen, an OR nurse, was open to talking to me about the Lord. She said that people were responding to me, including patients and staff who normally were closed off to anything spiritual. I wasn't doing anything out in left field. I simply smiled and told them about Jesus. Even the head of neurosurgery, who normally was rather mean and standoffish, opened up to me. The last I heard of him, he was passing out tracts for Jesus in Florida. When I left my job at the end of the summer, they gave me a big party, an unheard of honor for someone who had only been there for 3 months.
Thank you for listening. Join Frank Julian every Wednesday for a new chapter of Story of a Soul 2. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter.